Before any state benefits from the grants, a verification exercise is undertaken.
$1.5 billion maximum utilization of funds in the best interest of citizens, World Bank explains.
We need to look at our plans and our policies, especially with regards to ensuring that children have increased access to health care.
World Malaria Day, health experts seek more action to end infestations. Also on the news, African countries synergize to boost tourism as the 2022 National Tourism and Transportation Summit begins in Abuja.
Government's role is to provide the policy and regulatory framework.
Good evening. Welcome to NTA Network News. I'm Cyril Stober in Abuja. Michael Olale is in our Lagos studio, while Zenred Dingmung is in Jos. And you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen for updates. Officials of the World Bank-assisted states' Fiscal Transparency Accountability Program have been speaking about factors surrounding the $1.5 billion facility shared to states of the Federation. National Coordinator of the program, Mr. Stephen Okon, says it was initiated to ensure maximum utilization of funds in the best interest of citizens across the country. Leah Katumba Batunde reports that this was disclosed at a workshop for members of the Finance Correspondents Association of Nigeria in Abuja.
Recent history of the nation's fiscal crisis dates back to 2015 and 2016 as a result of oil price shocks, which led to the budget support facility. Two large financial assistance packages by the federal government to the states to help meet basic recurring obligations such as civil servant salaries. The recovery path led to the creation of the Fiscal Sustainability Plan FSP, born out of a need to, among other things, strengthen fiscal transparency and accountability. The $1.5 billion World Bank intervention was a loan to the federal government in the form of a performance-based grant to the 36 states to provide technical support for officials towards successful implementation of the program.
Before any state benefits from the grants, a verification exercise is undertaken, and that verification exercise is led by the Office of the Auditor General for the Federation.
So there's been crazy increased digital maturity transformation across a lot of the states.
Key results and deliverables include increased fiscal transparency and accountability, strengthened domestic revenue mobilization, increased efficiency in public expenditure, strengthened debt sustainability, as well as establishing a transparent, accountable, and sustainable fiscal response to COVID-19.
State governments are encouraged to carry out budget engagement sessions where citizens contribute to the budget, and government accommodates these contributions within the budget.
To have a very good institutional arrangement in place and best practices in terms of public debt management, so that public borrowing and public debt management at the subnational level will be sustainable.
The workshop availed opportunity for officials to explain the rationale behind the SIFTA's program implementation, give updates on the status of program implementation by implementation agencies and partners, promote national buy-in, and ensure program sustainability. In Abuja, Leah Katumba Batunde, NTA News.
30,000 Nigerians are to undergo training on information and communication technology within the next 3 years. 300 Huawei academies are also being instituted in some Nigerian universities. This is the outcome of a memorandum of understanding signed between the federal government and Huawei Nigeria some time ago. Chimdema Ndubisi reports that the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Pantami, was at the launch of the training program in Abuja.
With the ribbons cut and necessary papers already signed. The Information and Communication Technology ICT Talent Development Cooperation kicks off. The next 3 years will see Nigerian students and engineers, 10,000 of them each year, being nurtured on the latest technology trends in ICT by China's foremost technology hub.
Students who go to this program can not only seek for a job, but also become entrepreneurs on their own. When they get a job, you don't need to train them again. They hit the ground running. That's one of the major things for the federal government of Nigeria through this cooperation.
This trend is described as a solid step towards building our talent ecosystem, which will accelerate the country's digital development and boost digital economy. This is being facilitated by Nigeria and China's technology cooperation, but there is consideration to expand the scope.
We are doing things for the strategy of the two countries. We are implementing strategy. The strategy covers 5 goals: political consonance or political support, economic cooperation, military and security collaboration, international affairs coordination, people communication.
The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Issa Ali Pantami, says the federal government has created enabling environment for private businesses to thrive by boosting ease of doing business policy.
Part of our request to Huawei, besides this training, Huawei should think of establishing Huawei Global Training Center in Nigeria. Nigeria happens to be the largest and also the biggest market in Africa. The largest economy in Africa, the largest digital economy in Africa.
With the expected ripple effect from this training, about 100 more students and engineers are estimated to benefit. In Abuja, Chimdima Ndubisi, NTA News.
To fully harness potential of the African Continental Free Trade Area in tourism, member countries need to strengthen standards and policies within the region for enhanced partnership of exportable products. This took center stage at the 2022 National Tourism and Transportation Summit and Expo in Abuja. Elizabeth Omori reports.
This convergence of players in the tourism and transport sectors seeks to analyze the contents of the AFCFTA, fundamental issues facing the sectors, as well as understand the linkages of markets for economic growth. Affirming the need to develop strong cooperation within the African continent, Minister of Information Lai Mohammed, in his message, noted that an effective synergy between the tourism and transport sectors will help remove bottlenecks confronting investors, tourists, importers, and exporters.
Government's role is to provide the policy and regulatory framework that would enable the private sector investors to thrive with a view to ensuring good return on investments.
Without the collaboration between the public and private sector, we cannot have a thriving economy.
Issues bordering on poor road networks, high tariffs, and insecurity were raised in Abuja. Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
In compliance with the federal government's directives, Kamba border in Kebbi State, considered one of the most strategic in the country, was reopened today amidst enthusiasm by all key stakeholders. Ibrahim Hamidu reports that with this development, the suspended commerce and trade between the neighboring West African countries and Nigeria is now fully back.
On behalf of the Comptroller General of Customs, I am here to ensure that this border is properly open.
In August 2019, the federal government ordered closure of the country's land borders over illegal importation of drugs, arms, and agricultural products into Nigeria from neighboring West African countries. The federal government of Nigeria says the closure of the country's borders over 3 years ago helped Nigeria tremendously. Recently, 4 more borders have been reopened. which include Kamba in Kebbi State, Ikom in Cross River State, Jibia in Katsina State, and Idioroko border in Ogun State. Customs Controller Kebbi Area Command Joseph Atta admonished the people that the gesture does not mean business as usual, hence the need for the people to do business within the law.
We have resharpened our anti-smuggling strategies. We insist on 100% examination. We will not treat kindly on any cases of concealment.
Kamba residents appreciated the development as they expressed how life was restricted by the closure for 3 years. But now things will gradually pick up and within the law.
Enhancement of Nigeria's security, for which we supported the federal government for her decision, in spite of the pains we have gone through.
Customs' relentless combat against smugglers has undermined several criminal operations. From Kamba, Niger border in Kebbi State, Brian Hamidou, NTA News.
On to health now. To win the fight to end malaria, efforts must be intensified to forestall mosquito infestations. This is the position of public health physicians in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital, who are advocating innovative ways of tackling malaria for improved community health. Ifeoma Aikoje reports.
A parasite, Plasmodium, that is transmitted from an infected female Anopheles mosquito is to be blamed for malaria occurrences, which is reported the #1 public health problem in Nigeria, responsible for about 30% of deaths in under 5s, 25% in infants, and 11% maternal mortality. Over the years, several advances made to lower the global burden of malaria seem to be stalled. Hence, the World Health Organization's call to harness innovations to reduce the malaria disease burden and save lives.
We need to look at our plans and our policies, especially with regards to ensuring that children have increased access to health care, pregnant women, access prophylactic care whilst pregnant. They need to have innovations in terms of diagnostics, in terms of treatment modalities available.
Getting down to the root, what innovations should be applied to tackle the increased mosquito infestation that comes with the rise of temperature and human activities in the environment.
Modify our environment, make sure the gutters are cleaned, ensure that people do not dump refuse into water drains.
And also fumigate our environment. We can also do indoor residual spraying.
Hence, public health experts call for concerted actions towards achieving the 2030 targets of the World Health Organization Global Malaria Strategy. In Uyo, Ifeoma Aikoje.
All right, I'm being joined now by Dr. Emmanuel Shekaro, Senior Case Management Officer, National Malaria Elimination Program. He joins us via Zoom. Dr. Shekaro, thanks for being with us on Network News.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Right, it's another World Malaria Day. What can you tell us about the Nigerian situation in the midst of the various interventions of the federal government and development partners?
Thank you very much. So what we can say concerning the Nigerian situation, we have made remarkable progress in the efforts to tackle malaria in Nigeria. Over the years, the malaria burden and prevalence have steadily reduced from the results of our nationally representative surveys. For example, in 2015, from the malaria indicator survey conducted, we had 27% malaria prevalence. And over the years, another national demographic health survey was conducted in 2018, and it showed that Nigeria prevalence currently stands at 23%. Though we are not there yet, but with concerted effort of the federal government, the state government, and government at all levels, as well as our development partners, both international partners and local partners, as well as our international donors, progress has really been made in tackling the scourge of malaria in Nigeria.
All right. Okay, well, what should be the message to draw from the theme for this year's commemoration?
Yeah, so from the theme of this year's commemoration is for us to mainly harness and leverage on the various innovations towards reducing the scourge of malaria, including the diagnostic tools, the treatment tools, as well as the preventive strategies.
Okay, we do seem to be having some connection problems with Dr. Shekarau there. Okay, well, okay.
Yeah, so
right.
I said there are various strategies that have been put in place and tools that we are deploying to ensure that malaria is tackled, especially preventive tools. And even more recently, like you may be aware, the World Health Organization has recently recommended the use of malaria vaccine in malaria endemic countries, especially the low and middle income countries, in order to tackle the scourge of malaria. So
right.
That's one of the
speaking about the vaccines, Dr. Shekarau, if you can hear me, speaking about the vaccines, where is Nigeria?
Yeah, so like I told you, the recommendations have just been made in October 2021. So the accessibility and availability of the vaccine is not yet available in the country. Like you might be aware, this vaccine was mainly piloted in 3 countries. And more recently, the World Health Organization and international partners are putting efforts in place in making this vaccine accessible in the endemic countries. So for Nigeria, mainly, we are at the level of engagement, and we are, preparing ourselves towards receiving this new tool to tackle malaria. So the National Malaria Elimination Program of the Federal Ministry of Health is collaborating with the National Primary Healthcare Agency to see to the possibility of rolling out this vaccine in the shortest possible time. The processes are involved in ensuring the deployment of this vaccine, because currently we do not have this in our routine immunization schedule. So there are processes involved in bringing in new vaccine into the country, so which we currently have for malaria vaccine. So that's where we are right now.
Thank you very much.
Engagements.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Emmanuel Shekarau, Senior Case Management Officer, National Malaria Elimination Program. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you for coming on Network News. Thank you.
No, thank you so much.
Right, we'll take a short break now for some messages. The news continues shortly. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. The African Union Development Agency has commenced the drafting of a national program of action that will address challenges that were identified in the course of Nigeria's second African peer review process. Mitaire Ipen tells us more.
End of Nigeria's second peer review marks the beginning of the process of drafting a national program of action that will rectify deficiencies in governance and development structures in the country. Some of the identified challenges in Nigeria's second peer review include issues of insecurity as well as infrastructural funding gaps. This 5-day workshop sets the ball rolling for experts from the African Union Development Agency, ministries, departments, and agencies of government, as well as civil society organizations, to harmonize and finalize the national program of action.
Let us put in our best and together we can achieve a better Nigeria in Africa.
This workshop is to produce the next national program of action. And these are the process to look at what we have existing already and look at what the reports of the review said, be able to harmonize it to one single document, being a framework for the implementation of the outcome or recommendations or observations made on the second country review report.
Experts at the ongoing workshop will also incorporate the National Program of Action into existing national development plans. So far, Nigeria is the only country in West Africa to complete its second peer review. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, has stressed the commitment of the Nigerian Air Force towards training and retraining of its personnel aimed at addressing all forms of security challenges bedeviling the country. He was speaking at the graduation ceremony of the Advanced Special Operations Course 1 2022 at the Regiment Training Center Annex, Abuja. Awal Abdullahi completes the report.
These are the 145 Air Force personnel, comprising 3 officers and 142 airmen who have successfully undergone 8 weeks training on Advanced Special Operations Course 1 of 2022. Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Mao, represented by the Chief of Policy of the Nigerian Air Force, Air Vice Marshal Charles Owo, charged the personnel to use the knowledge acquired to enhance productivity.
The Nigerian Air Force has made concerted efforts over the years to build our internal capacity and resilience for force protection by boosting the strength of our regiment and special operating force personnel through purposeful training and human capacity development.
In order to equip these specially trained personnel to accomplish this task, the curriculum for the Advanced Special Operations course entailed counter-improvised explosive devices training, air-to-ground integration, remotely piloted aerial systems training, as well as close-quarter battle drills.
The training was conducted in collaboration with the British military.
And the Nigeria-UK relationship is hugely important. But employment of what we've conveyed here will help save lives and defeat a common enemy. So I know that through our continuing close cooperation, we will contribute to improving the security situation.
The Nigerian Air Force has so far trained about 5,000 regiments and 2,000 special operations forces. In Bauchi, Awal Abdullahi, NTA News.
The Inspector General of Police, Osman Alkali Baba, has directed personnel of the force to take full advantage of the police healthcare facilities in their respective commands and formations, especially in light of the recent acquisition and distribution of hospital equipment for both basic and advanced health services to police hospitals, clinics, and cottage health centers across the country. In a statement, the IGP noted that the services of police hospitals are not restricted to police personnel alone, as members of the public can equally access and benefit from the services rendered at the facilities. The IGP equally encouraged personnel to engage in physical exercise, medical checks, and good diet to improve their living conditions and reduce avoidable deaths while on duty. Participants of Course 15 of the National Institute for Security Studies, Abuja, are in Kwara State to foster interagency synergy to manage security challenges. They were received by the State Governor, Abdurrahman Abdurazak. Raliat Ibrahim has the report.
Of Syndicate Course 15 of the National Institute for Security Studies are in Kwara State on an environmental study tour themed The Global Climate Change Challenge, Prospects and Priorities for Economic Development and Conflict Resolutions in Africa. While in the state, participants will interact with members of the State Executive Council and selected groups to gain insight into how the state is managing security issues. The tour is also designed to enable course participants appreciate the security challenges and its impact on ecological issues, and in the end, provide implementable solutions.
I'd like to go back to put our findings, documenting, and make a presentation on the outcome of our actions. It was very deeply our knowledge on this particular topic.
The syndicate is comprised of participants from 4 countries. It will document the findings after the tour and make presentations to the federal and state governments. Raliat Ibrahim, NTA News.
Let's now join Michael in our Lagos studio for more reports. Michael?
Thank you, Cyril.
The Lagos State government is on track to meet the first quarter of 2023 deadline set for the intra-city Blue Rail line to commence operations in the state. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu gave the assurance after inspecting the progress of work done on the Blue Rail line project in Lagos. Musa Tolia has details.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu embarked on inspection tour of the Blue Line Rail project and 4 train stations in Igamu, Mile 2, Alaba, and Marina to ascertain that the intra-city rail project would meet the first quarter of 2023 deadline. One of the convictions that the rail project is at an advanced stage was the test run of the cargo cards technology required to board a train at the stations.
Thank you. I've been told that we are almost about 90% at this station based on concrete works and the likes. And so we're happy that the contractor, they work 7 days a week. The major aspect, apart from the Marina station, is the sea crossing, which is from Outer Marina, from Eco Bridge, to join Outer Marina. You've seen that they are almost completed.
Some vandalism activities along the rail corridors attracted strong condemnation from the governor.
We're going to go to the companies that are buying these things off them. And government is going to be shutting down some of those companies because it's only because there's a market for them. That's why people will go and vandalize and destroy, barriers that have been created.
In the course of the inspection, Governor Sanwo-Olu noticed that traders are back under the Akwonmo Bridge and gave a 3-day ultimatum, after which the state enforcement team will be deployed.
The whole idea is to have a zero tolerance there. On Wednesday, we will come and clear that whole place.
The 25-kilometer Blue Line rail system will run from Okokomaiko along Badagry Expressway to Marina on Lagos Island. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
Upholding the African culture and values in order to preserve the continent's heritage as well as human dignity is non-negotiable. This was the unanimous position of some civil society organizations at an event organized by the Foundation for African Cultural Heritage in Lagos. Hingino John Adams tells us more.
Holly Abo is an undergraduate and a pro-life activist. Her belief strongly opposes the concept of abortion.
Everybody should be allowed to live, whether they are a little child in the womb.
Abo is joining this coalition of civil society groups to say no to legalization of abortion in Nigeria. Though from different societies and organizations, they have a common ideology, which is every human life, irrespective of its stage and how it came about, is important. And this belief they hold firmly.
Legalizing abortion has never convincingly been shown to reduce abortion mortality, but it does cause many, many more abortions.
Abortion is illegal. Laws are made in consonance with the values of a people.
Ultimately, God has to have his way. Do not kill. Thou shalt not murder. And if you go out of your way to murder, then you are offending God.
Another area of concern raised at the event is the international effort to sexualize children through indoctrination. The alliance is insisting that this move is contributing to the current twist in moral behaviors among minors.
Abortion rights are being pushed even through the channels that are supposed to be tailored for kids. Is also the responsibility of the parents to guide their children right.
What are our responsibility towards the incoming generation?
Participants here are hopeful that their voice will be heard by relevant stakeholders for necessary action. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Time for some messages. The news continues shortly. Please stay.
All right, we're back now. Oil slides with Shanghai lockdowns took demand fears as investors gained 45.1 billion naira to open the week positive in the capital market. Musa Abubakar has details on business news. Musa?
Thank you, Cyril.
Well, let's begin with energy. Oil slumped about 6% on Monday to its lowest in 2 weeks on growing worries about the global energy demand outlook due to prolonged COVID-19 lockdowns in Shanghai and potential increases in U.S. interest rates. Reuters reports that in Shanghai, authorities have erected fences outside residential buildings. In Beijing, many people have begun stockpiling food, fearing a similar lockdown after the emergence of a few cases of COVID-19. Brent futures fell 5.8% to $100.48 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude fell 5.8% to $96.16 a barrel. And now to capital market. The equities market has kicked off on a positive note as the NGX all-share index appreciated by 0.17% to 48,543.36 basis point. Market capitalization inched up to 26.170 trillion naira, with investors exchanging 328.391 million shares valued at 4.038 billion naira in 5,711 deals. Zenith Bank, Owando and Axel Mansard Insurance PLC are the most active shares at the end of the day's transaction. Well, that's business news. It's back to you, Cyril.
Thank you, Musa. Now, rural communities in Bauchi State have commended the federal government for its roads construction and rehabilitation projects, as they believe it is capable of linking them with other parts of the country. They made the remarks while commenting on the ongoing roads project by the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency within the state. Awal Abdullahi reports.
Peninsula community in Misau local government area of Bauchi State is well known for agricultural and commercial activities. However, lack of access road is bringing about setback in the socio-economic developments of the area. It was a dawn of a new era for members of the community as the Federal Road Maintenance Agency under the Federal Government Road Intervention Program has embarked on the construction of access road that links the community with other parts of the state. The first phase of the project will cover 2.5 kilometers with 3 culverts.
This project is going to have positive impact on the life of the communities along the alignment, because it will enhance and make it easy for them to take their farm produce to the market without difficulty as before.
The 16-kilometer road, when completed, will link Zadawa, Sambolo, Kafin Sule and Madakiri communities in Misau and Giade local government areas of Bauchi State. Other projects executed by FEMA in Bauchi include the general repair of road shoulder along Bauchi-Ningi-Kano roads. Members of the affected communities, while appreciating the gesture, solicited the release of more funds to enable timely completion of the project.
All our people, I am assuring the Federal Road Maintenance Agency that they will give maximum support.
In Bauchi, Awal Abdullahi, NTA News.
Next, we go to Jos. Zenred has more on Network News. Zenred.
Cyril. Governor Simon Lalong has expressed concern over pending cases of suspects arraigned for violent crimes, calling on judiciary to ensure quick dispensation of such cases for a better society. This was at the swearing-in of the substantive Chief Judge of Plateau State, Justice David Gomman. Ali Sabatukai Andrew reports.
Swearing in the Chief Judge, Governor Simon Lalong says the call for quick dispensation of justice has become necessary following rampant cases of violent crimes in the state. The state government, he says, is of the view that the longer such cases stay in the courts, the colder they become, and the tendency to further impact on security and safety of not just witnesses, but the citizens. Lack of conclusion on some of the cases on time seem to create an impression among criminals that they can carry out crimes and not be punished.
We hope that you will take advantage of all the latitude that this autonomy provides for you to ensure that judicial staff are well trained while the day-to-day running of the court is seamless. Our people should find it easy to approach the court with their grievances and be assured of getting a listening ear and justice at the end.
This will stop them from resorting to self-help, which is taking a worrisome dimension.
I shall endeavor to do my best to keep to the oath. At this juncture, I will solicit prayers of all of you.
He thanked the state government for finding him worthy to serve. In Jos, Alisa Batukai Andrew, NTA News.
Management of University of Jos has described as unfortunate the destruction of 5 complexes in the institution by rainstorm. Sadat Mohammed Kafa has details.
Buildings affected include faculties of natural sciences, veterinary medicine, agricultural science, twin lecture hall and indoor sporting complex and gymnasium recently donated by Korean government to enhance sporting activities in the institution. Management staff of the institution, while on the spot assessment of facilities, expressed concern over the level of destruction.
Our joy is that no life is lost. But like I said, this is a horrible experience from climate change. We're taking lessons from here. Lessons in terms of designing the next roofing buildings or infrastructure that will come up in the university.
What has happened now is a very, very devastating issue which has affected the progress of the university. This thing is a project was donated to us as part of corporate social responsibility, and to have had this storm affecting it, it has set us back greatly.
The management called for assistance to put them in good shape. In Jos, Saadat Mohammed Kafa, NTA News.
We'll take a commercial break now. Network News continues thereafter.
Sports now with Abadi Adile.
Federal Capital Territory have joined others around the world to sign up for the campaign against the eradication of malaria in the country. This was displayed at a novelty basketball match played in Abuja to mark the 2022 World Malaria Day with the theme Harness Innovation to Reduce Burden and Save Lives.
I can also create awareness by letting other people to know about the importance of keeping our environment clean to prevent the disease malaria.
To football, head coach of Nigeria's under-20 national football team, Ladambo, says his team is gradually taking shape after 1 week of training in Abuja. The new-look Flying Eagles have so far played 3 friendly games, winning 2 and drawing 1, as they prepare for the WAFU B Under-20 Nations Cup qualifier in Nigeria.
We've just finished the 7th training session this evening, and you guys may here, and you can see the difference between when we started and what we're able to offer or to put on ground today.
In the meantime, Rivers United strengthened their lead atop the Nigeria Professional Football League on Monday as they recorded a 3-0 win over Niger Tornadoes in a Week 25 encounter. Enyimba's fight for a continental slot was dealt a blow by Shooting Stars, who beat them 2-0. Wiki Tourist and Heartland drew goalless, while Plateau United maintained second with a 1-0 win over Remo Stars. To Europe, the UEFA Champions League first leg semi-final matches take center stage this week, with Manchester City and Real Madrid facing off at the Etihad on Tuesday in the first semi-final clash. It will be the 7th meeting between the familiar foes in the competition. With sports update, Bade Adeleye.
President Muhammadu Buhari condoles with the family of former Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Alabo Tonya Graham Douglas, who passed away this Monday. The president sympathizes with the government and people of Rivers State over the loss of the political stalwart, Democrat and administrator who served differently as Minister of Aviation, Minister of Labour and Productivity and Minister of Tourism, leaving a legacy of distinguished service to the nation. President Buhari prays that the Almighty God will grant the soul of the departed a peaceful rest and comfort his family. The All Progressives Congress national leader and presidential aspirant Asiwaju Bola Tinubu has commiserated with Governor Hope Uzodimma and families, friends and loved ones of those who perished in the recent Imo illegal refinery disaster. He also sympathized with the people of Imo State over the loss of over 100 lives caused by the explosion. In a letter to Governor Uzodimma, which he personally signed, Asiwaju Tinubu said this senseless disaster must not be allowed to reoccur in Imo or anywhere in Nigeria, noting that the owner of the illegal refinery and his accomplices must be apprehended and made to answer for this crime and its consequences. In the meantime, the Secretary General of OPEC, Mohammed Barkindo, has also commiserated with the government and people of Imo State over the fire at an illegal oil refining depot in Imo State. Dr. Barkindo, in a statement, extended deepest sympathies on behalf of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, saying they stand shoulder to shoulder with all who grieve at this difficult time. He prayed God to give the bereaved the fortitude to bear the loss. And that concludes Network News tonight. But just remember that the war against rape and rapists is ongoing. Join the NTA to prosecute it. That's all from me. I'm Cyril Stober. Good night.